Hi, I am Andrea, and the title of what I wrote is Who Am I? When we are little, we are always asked, what do we want to be when we grow up? I was struck by a video of a little girl who, when her mom asked her this, she said she wanted to be herself when she grew up. And I thought, wow, I also want to be who I am when I grow up. Why do we have to become something? Why can't we just be ourselves in every stage of our life? Childhood, adolescence, youth, and adulthood. The more I get to know and connect with myself, the more I realize that I don't really know myself. And not because I don't know who I am, but because I've never fully recognized myself, as if simply being who I am were not enough. I love who I am. And I am happy to say that I enjoy my own company. I'm a really cool person and I genuinely like myself. But if I love myself and have such a good time with me, then why do I feel the need to prove my worth to the outside world? Why isn't being who I am enough? Why do things always have to go perfectly for me? Why do I always have to feel good and be as close to perfect as possible? When I was little, I didn't even realize that I was something. I just was. I laughed with my classmates, and if I wanted to dance, I danced. I had no limits. I have always loved singing. When I was little, my mom says I used to make up songs, sometimes even with invented words. Not knowing wasn't an obstacle to doing something. If I wanted to do something, I did it, even if I had to make up words to express the sounds and emotions I wanted to convey. We're asked to choose a career to go to university. And I realized that, just like me, many other people felt completely lost, with no idea what they truly wanted to study. And we don't realize that we already have the answer inside ourselves. The problem is that we are always focused on becoming someone, as if it were a goal to be reached, something distant, when in reality, it has always been within us. We already are. We just need to open ourselves to truly see who we are and tell ourselves, I am enough, just as I am. No part of me is ugly, a failure, or imperfect. I am who I am, and it's okay to be who I am. That is what I am meant to share with the world. I don't need to become or change anything. Everyone is always chasing success, but, but success is not one specific thing. It's different and unique for each person. Success lies in being who we are. Success lies in being who we are and materializing it in our lives. That's why no one can tell anyone else that if they take an unconventional path or are a certain way, they will never be successful. Success is being. It sounds easy, and it is, but it's also challenging because of everything we have been taught. I love myself, but I still can't say that my life is a full materialization of who I truly am. Some of the choices I've made have been out of fear of something. At some point in my life, which I can't even remember, I put who I truly am in the background, knowing that I am always there, always here, and will always be here, but feeling like just being myself wasn't enough. Now, I'm bringing who I truly am back to the foreground, reconnecting with myself, and going back to doing what I love most, what I have always loved, even if I don't know how to do it perfectly or professionally. I am shifting from hobbies to a life that truly reflects me. And it may take time to shed all the layers, but every day I am becoming more of who I truly am, and that is what matters. Thank you. That's what I wrote from the deepest parts of my heart. And I think that's it. Then we have the interesting part of ChatGPT, which is like the analysis. Oh no, this is my analysis of writing. Okay. Um, After writing, reflect on your piece. Is your tone formal, emotional, or poetic? I believe it's emotional and reflective and informal. And do you use vivid imagery, short or long sentences, metaphors, or dialogues? I used long sentences and paragraphs, and also an interesting fact is that the image that, well, this image is actually, well, I generated it with AI, especially for this work um, because I wanted like something very specific, and so I told the AI to generate an image that showed what I wanted to see, and it created that, and yeah, and does your writing feel more like a story, a poem, or something else? I wanted it to feel like a reflection, and like if I was talking to a very reflective and dear friend. Yeah, like basically, I wanted it to be like me expressing me, and like if I was talking to someone or even like myself about this, and yeah, and reflect a little. And then um AI style comparison. Okay. So I placed my text to ChatGPT, and it's super fun because he told me that I was like, okay, I'm just going to read it. Your writing style is reflective, introspective, and carries a touch of inspiration. You tend to seek depth in the topics you explore, especially in self discovery, personal growth, and alignment with your true essence. Based on this, you might resonate with authors such as Clarissa Pincola Estes, especially in Women Who Run with the Wolves, Paulo um, Coelho, I think, for his way of blending philosophy and spirituality with inspiring storytelling. Elizabeth Gilbert with her personal exploration style, intimate and moving, and Khalil Gibran, whose poetry and prose have an almost mystical cadence. And it's super interesting because um, I actually have read some of his work, and I like I've seen on Pinterest some of his phrases and poems, and I've saved them, and I have liked them very much. So it was super interesting because I actually like his work, and I don't know much of the work of the other authors, but I believe they're cool too. And he gave me here's a short story inspired by your style and these references. And this says, The Whisper of the Water. There was a young woman named Alina who lived in a village where the rivers whispered secrets to those who knew how to listen. Since she was a child, her grandmother had told her, the answers you seek are not in the noise of the world, but in the echo of your own soul. But over time, Alina forgot that teaching. She got lost in the rush of life, in the expectations of others, in the fear of not fitting in, until one day, exhausted, she sat by the bank of the village's oldest river, and closed her eyes. The water, in its eternal flow, spoke to her through its dance of foam and reflections. It showed her how every current followed its path without fighting against the rocks. How everything in nature moved with purpose, without haste, yet without pause. Alina then understood that she did not need to struggle against the current of her life. She only needed to remember who she was and allow the water to guide her. From that day on, whenever the world overwhelmed her, she returned to the river and let her soul synchronize with the flow of existence. And so, with each visit, she learned to listen to herself again. And yeah, I believe that's it. So yeah, that's everything. And yeah, I think it was interesting, and I think that um, I think that this activity connect me again with writing because it's something that I really like doing, but I haven't done in a long time. And yeah, I think I'm gonna start writing more. And that's it. Thank you.